Okay, we have a quorum, so I will take a motion to approve the minutes and the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda in the minutes.
I'll second.
Moving in second, and for discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, Rich.
Not a lot to discuss this week. We got a bridge report back, so we're trying to line up repairs and some bridge stuff is going on, but AJ, I did give you that highlighted
I sent that
version
down to
before we
John.
left, so.
Yep, that sent that down to John. We're gonna have a discussion with him at 9:30, so.
So we're just, right now, for the spring, we're evaluating whether or not, this week's gonna be warm, but I don't know if we should be on the roads. And I've driven some of the roads out east even, and they look pretty decent yet, so we'll try to stay off of them until we have to get on them, because we don't know if this warm weather is gonna start pulling frost out or not. But, yeah, and that's probably where all the culverts and stuff are and all the
Oh,
towers.
no, and even other spots, I don't know why they're boiling without any water, but they're starting to.
And then out in your area, you're seeing more of that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll drive out that way, because
One, what you call it, kind of third dam there where those two twin pipes are, I just go that there. It's a little bouncy. I mean, yeah, definitely over the culverts and stuff, but I mean, and it's not that they're boiling out, but
Right.
they're starting to get bouncy.
okay.
And the frost wells on the blacktops, which some of them are pipes, some of them are not. They're-
Yeah, some of them, you're gonna get those dips
Popping,
until the
they're
frost
coming
comes out.
Yeah.
So, but we're keeping an eye on that stuff, so. Anyway, we were, this is the time of year we turn applications in for the STP money for our NIACOG, but Worth County right now has a bank of about $300 and some thousand in the STP fund, but we're gonna use some of that work. That's including what we're gonna do on thrush, so we gotta balance out to 2026. I'm not gonna put an application in this year to use that money. I wanna kind of build it up so we've got something substantial. When I went up to Duluth for the convention, I thank you guys for letting me go up there, but just talking to some people up there, that oil prices are high. I mean, we know the oil prices are high, but the asphalt prices have gone. I heard rumors of $1,000 oil. Usually around $500, $600 for the oil in the for the asphalt oils. And somebody said there was some bids that were $1,000 a gallon, and it's only 6% of the mix, but even that's, you know, almost double. Now I'm just saying I haven't seen those numbers personally, but it was just what I was told, that they're approaching those high dollars. I don't know when they'll come down. We don't get all the asphalt that we use in this country comes from Canada or South America. The oil we have in the United States is too clean,
Okay.
so we don't get asphalt out of that oil. So it's all kind of an import, but probably mostly out of Canada. But so I don't know. I mean, we've got a project in for next year. We'll keep an eye on the prices. I mean, what we were going to do is do a thrush was going to be a 2-inch mill with that high pro mix, just to not raise the profile up. So we'll see what the numbers are doing here. We've still got some time yet, but this year will be the year we designed for next summer's construction. So we'll see what oil does then too.
Yeah, that might change a lot of things for a lot of places.
It will.
Next couple of years.
Look at that, if you're gonna get paving, you're gonna get half, you know.
Right.
You might only get 2/3 of what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, and so, and with that too, you know, the new IIJ, you know, the new funding and stuff. The biggest thing now in the construction industry is carbon neutral. I mean, it's not just this industry, but everything. And cement production is one of the higher carbon dioxide contributors to global warming, I guess they say, but concrete also absorbs carbon dioxide when it's put down. So there's a whole theory behind all that stuff. So I don't know what that's going to do with pricing and everything else too. You roll your eyes, but there's a whole lot of science with how it absorbs, you know, because in the making of cement powder, there's a process that puts out a lot of CO2, and it's usually in the kiln.
Right.
But you're converting limestone into something else, and you're giving off carbon dioxide when you convert the limestone into clinker. But what happens was, over time, that cement powder absorbs it wants to go back to its normal state. So it's pulling carbon dioxide out of the air. And what they're saying is they're saying like the top, like we'll use 105 out here for an example, that's probably pulled out as much carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere as it can. But if you milled off an eighth to a quarter of an inch, you exposed new product, and it would pull more carbon out of it. I don't know where these scientists come up with some of this stuff, but it's crazy. But so now you've got carbon neutral and asphalt prices, and this whole thing is a whole game. And I don't know if with the new money, the new federal money, part of that money was, I think some of that federal money had projects with being more carbon neutral or whatever, and if you can try to sell, you know, concrete as a carbon neutral product, do they have an advantage or not? I talking to some of the people up there, and you know, nobody knows what this federal money's gonna do, but I think because of the war that's going on now, they've actually, the bill is actually going to the president's desk a lot earlier than normal. So that federal funding, that new bill might be coming. We might be able to use that sooner than we thought. So we'll see what that all does too. So anyway, enough history and enough
Science.
science for the day. I guess
Yeah.
everybody's, it's Pi Day. There's another math thing for you. I don't have anything else for you. We're gonna keep getting back here. I know with our John Deere motor graders had some trouble with the computer in it, so we'll see what that bill's gonna be like, or maybe it's still under warranty. But for now, I think I'll evaluate some things we've got. Budget things I want to try to finalize here now that we've got our bridge report back, and I'll try to get something to you. April 15th when ours is due. Maybe I can get it done a little earlier so we can evaluate it. I don't know yet. We want to try to buy a used motor grader or not in the
Did you
fleet.
say, have you done that
I
yet?
haven't done it yet.
I
'Cause I
just
wanna-
saw there's what year were you looking at?
These were 2015
2015,
12 M3s, kind of like, but they were all with drive machines.
2012 on Big Iron coming up on an auction, and another really nice payloader, but we don't need those either, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
But I didn't say the hours and stuff, it just says.
yeah, these are really low hours. They'd be
Yeah.
worth their own. So anyway, well, I'm gonna keep looking at that stuff here the next couple of weeks, try to dial in where we can be, because
Okay.
you know, with the budget and everything else, we'll look and see. I think we're doing okay with the budget, but
Yeah,
we're not out of winter yet either.
no, we could get kicked yet.
It's hardly for
At least we got
We're
one good
we're getting a
week.
week, but you never know what we get after that.
Right, right.
As long as it
Anyway.
got some moisture somewhere for.
Yeah, we need
It
moisture.
is dry out there.
Hardly a tile running, I don't think anywhere. So, okay, anything else for Rich, guys? All right. We don't have.
We had one.
There's something here.
Sand forts.
She must, over there, right there. Should be one. All right. So I will take a motion to approve the drainage claim.
I'll make that a motion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Favor say aye. Motion is carried. All right, so we have the regular terms. You guys got anything on those questions? Not.
We have to appoint a commissioner, or did we get that?
Yeah, did you get a hold of Myron?
Yes, but he said no, so
Oh.
Burdick is.
So we're still that's right. You
Yeah.
said Burdick was doing
I'm
it.
sorry, I thought yeah, she doesn't have that on, got a point, so yeah.
She's got it, but is there,
Okay,
did he get his application in?
oh, there's no application,
Yeah. there's-
Oh, there isn't, okay, so then we just.
not for that one,
Yeah, we can appoint.
so we'll do the claims here first. Take a motion to approve the claims.
A motion to approve claims.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second it.
All right, any further discussion? Not all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Okay, yep, Bruce Burdick has agreed to do the DD 46 and those, so I will take a motion to accept Bruce Burdick as a commissioner slash appraiser.
Motion to appoint Bruce as an appraiser commissioner.
I'll second it.
Now, we're in second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. There is no reports here, so we're taking payroll claims, so I'll take a motion to approve the payroll claims.
Motion to approve payroll claims.
There's a second,
I'll second it.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay. That too. Okay. All right, there was no payroll or no liquor. So is there an appointment to county eminent domain? I don't think so right now.
Still
So
gotta find one yet.
I have one.
you got one?
He just hasn't turned.
Turn his application in, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he said he'd do it. He picked up an application. I'll have to get on him to turn it in.
okay. Okay, well, it's not 9 o'clock yet, so you gotta wait for the resolution. It's not 9:30, you gotta wait for that. Melissa, do you happen to be on today? She is.
Morning.
All right,
I talked with Joe at OPN and he's gonna be setting up our initial meeting for that master plan for the first week in April.
Okay.
So my question is, would one of you guys want to come, or should I just send it to Jackie and post it in case more than one would like to come? It'll probably be at, it's not a set date yet. It'll be the first week of April, first full week of April.
Okay.
That's the ones doing the 3D drawing,
yeah,
right?
So, I mean, I can just send it out to you,
Send it to Jackie so she can post it.
then you guys can decide.
Whoever can make it can make it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure at least one of us will be there.
yeah, I can, first week of April, I'll be back, so. I should be able
Sure.
to make it. Just give me a date.
Okay,
Yeah, you just give us a date.
Yeah. Yeah.
will do.
Pretty good. You know, if the guys can make it, he was pretty interesting to talk to. He's got some pretty good knowledge when I met with him here a month or two ago now, I guess, so. Yeah, okay,
And then I have a follow-up phone call with Ready Fuels tomorrow. They are
Okay.
eager to get the guarantee on the agenda. If you want to discuss that with Danos
Okay.
at some point in time.
well, one thing we need to get is the value of that, what they're gonna be adding. I mean, we need to know what the value of the building and whatever that's for property tax dollars.
I did get the sources and uses of funds. I'm kind of combing through it right now and perfecting it up because there's a bit of a gap right now. But I should get that cleared up tomorrow. And then I can send the information straight to John if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be fine. We just gotta have some kind of value. I mean, you know, if we're gonna be backing them to close to $10 million, it's gonna have to add some valuation too.
Okay,
Yeah, if you can put that together and get it back to us, and then we'll send it to John also,
Yeah, so he's got it. And
okay,
that'd be good.
we'll see what he says as far as our timeline on the rest now, and then we can let those guys know when to come forward, I would say.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'll see what John says, so we can get more info, I think, man.
okay. I think that's about it.
Great, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Okay, wastewater discussion and timeline for RFP for services at the I-35 exchange.
I sent you guys that this morning, RFP from Jason.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to look through it, see if you like how it is, if there needs to be any changes other than dates, time. Then we can, yeah, go forward to the timeline.
It's pretty much like the last one, didn't it, too?
Yeah, it will be.
I read it here. Looks fine to me.
And we can have Jason take care of all that stuff, basically, once they come in, probably just have them send them right to him, so he can read through and approve that they're following the RFP, so.
Okay.
But yeah, if you just wanna look through it this week or sometime, and then we'll
Just need to get it on probably for next week.
send it out. Yeah, I'll send it to him and see what he thinks for timing. But I would say at least we'd have something, maybe end of June is end of contract, so I'd say at least by like May, first part of May.
Okay.
Or mid-May, maybe. They'd give us a month and a half or so. So, yeah, just nose through that a little bit and then I'll get with Jason, see what he thinks. First part of May or mid-May, so.
Okay. Okay, we'll look them over. All right. Well, department heads, I guess, for right now. These two, right? Jim?
Went back through the building stuff for shop and office and on the website, did that fall off?
No.
The final booklet?
We
You
got,
forwarded it to us, didn't you, or somebody?
I
did?
think it
Well-
was a link, wasn't it?
Or a link, is that what it
I
was?
thought I forwarded the book, maybe I didn't.
It showed a picture.
it showed the pictures in the book and the layout and the whole
'Cause
works.
all I could find is it an email from you that said, here's, the book is posted to the news section of the website. And when
I
I went
just
back
looked at
through
the front
archive
cover,
news, I
you-
couldn't find it.
Yeah, I looked through it.
I've got the book.
You do have
He,
the book,
he was
okay?
able to get into whatever Joel sent us. I just saw the
Okay.
front cover and I didn't go.
It's
any
got the
further.
design plan, how it works, of course. The
I thought
emergency management was on there at that time, and
Right.
that won't happen now, so,
Right.
No,
yeah, but the design plans are in there, and
Okay,
the reasoning, and
yeah,
all of that stuff was in the one that I opened up.
I've got all that archived, Jim, so
Okay.
we can pull that out.
you can pull it up.
But I did send it to these three, but I can send it to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause I went to look for it and I was like, I can't, and I'm sure you sent it out at one time, or they sent it out, but when I went through my archived emails, I couldn't, but there's a lot of stuff, correspondence from FEH to go through, so.
And pull through quite a bit, but yeah, I think that was the latest too. I can check and see, but I think that was
As I
the,
say, the book was I think their final product to
Yep.
us.
I would imagine just like the other ones that had done, so.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, the architectural design was, it looked
Was
fine to
there,
me, it was there.
Yeah.
There's just maybe an extra office maybe, or something like that.
Was that gonna be built where you're at now, or where?
That was gonna be built.
That was in
Recycling-
Kansas.
recycling. Okay.
you guys didn't come to the meetings? We had these great meetings.
So how many years ago was
And
that?
really, that's where
Right,
it ought to go now,
Yes.
is down there.
Yeah.
Right back, just do the same thing we're doing before, maybe make it a little less because we don't need the emergency management there. But
So
it's
I guess
got,
you're
you
gonna
know,
have Room for the
Well-
trailer or whatever you're doing.
Well, I would like to keep some of that space in there that we had set aside for emergency management, just so we've got a meeting room and.
that's fine too.
Yeah.
right, and the other thing is, if we do have an extra office, having an extra office won't hurt in case there's a, continuity of government type thing, it might just be a storage room initially, but if something were to happen, you'd at least have one other office space, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well, that was gonna be our DR site,
Yeah,
so I mean, it would be a fantastic DR site.
Did you get a chance, did you go to,
I
did you
get a
talk to
chance-
Jamie?
I didn't get a chance to talk to Jamie. He looked like maybe there's lots of people asking questions.
Oh, I'm sure there
Isn't that
was.
what you'd say, Joel? Every time I saw him, he was sitting with somebody talking and then, so I never actually got a chance to pull him off. the side.
questions or chewing?
I didn't make last week, so
Are
I,
you gonna try to touch base with him?
Yeah, you were wounded, I heard.
I'll try and touch base with him.
Gotcha.
Oh, why not?
Yeah,
I'll try and pull that final book and send it to you.
Okay,
Because I think the ones I sent to these guys was part of the presentation
okay,
Or maybe that's,
book, so I want to get that final book. I
okay.
might not actually go on the website then.
Cause like,
think it dropped off the website.
yeah, I was gonna say, cause I went back through and it's far enough ago that it wasn't there,
Yeah,
so.
but I've got-
Not that I saw. so.
I've got all that stuff archived, so I'll pull up the final book presentation. Yeah, I got it. I'll throw it out to, you want all department heads or just,
Doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
really matter.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't. for
If it
everybody
doesn't
included.
apply to anyone else, they can delete it.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I'll just throw it out to the group then.
There was
I
other
just think we
goofy
ought to go
emails from-
for it. You never know.
Yeah,
You don't apply, you won't get nothing.
Yeah.
So,
It'll be interesting to see what the price tag is on it from
Yeah,
back then. and now.
Probably the
No.
same price with half the building.
I was gonna say, yeah.
what was it back then? 1.4 or 1.6?
1416, somewhere in there.
Someplace in there. Now the new one is 2.1. So
I would imagine.
the only thing I would say is, if it is state funded, we don't know what their
Right.
you know, we don't know what that range is. We don't want to price ourselves out of the market either for what the
Right.
state wants to do.
Well, I can about guarantee you what they're gonna do. They're gonna take a look at all the projects and where they're located for more than anything.
And the need,
And the real need.
and we definitely got a real need.
Just gotta try to
Well,
sell
the
it to them that
Yeah, we
way.
just gotta
And then-
sell that need.
And I don't know for sure, but the one way they may look at it is they may look at counties like ours that, you know, we only got 1.2 million of the ARPA funds where you got,
Yeah, maybe we'll get a little more.
you know, you got the big counties that, you know, Cerro Gordo, 8 million. And you, I mean, so they,
Especially if it's a project that somewhat could add some economic impact.
Right.
Well, conservation is perfect for.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loved conservation projects
well, and
when I talked to him.
look, there's a lot of dollars going to conservation boards through ARPA right now, so.
So,
The
yeah, I
sooner
think
we
we
get on
ought to
that and
keep pursuing it.
get it down there, the sooner, the better it's gonna be, the sooner, you know, first on the
Yeah.
desk gets first looked at. So.
And then last week I was at ISAC and the county day, I had good conversations with both Jane and Leyland. Wednesday night or Wednesday late in the session, Senator Dawson, who had done the tax reform bill that had passed, had brought out everything that they carved out of the tax bill essentially and brought another bill out for. Then it includes I will, the law stuff is still there. I know the law thing is contentious. Everybody I talked to down in Des Moines had a different opinion on it, so. I don't know that it'll go anywhere, but at least there's a bill out there again with I will in it. I mean,
Constitutional amendment, you can't get it to.
right.
Can't get the thing to go.
And then I hadn't heard about this bill and I don't have a bill number for it, but I guess there's a bill floating around that's saying people, you know, against solar farms essentially.
Yep.
And so I don't know if I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that there's a bill floating
I
around.
was just talking to Jane there now, and she forgot we had a meeting at 8:30, but she said that she hasn't really seen anything on it, I think it was, but yeah, I've read about it too, and I made contact with her on that, and I have a little issues.
I did not read that one.
So
Where did you
I
read
you
got
couldn't
that?
put solar on anything over 60 CSR.
Oh, I did read that article.
And I would assume that's a 60 CSR average, so, you know, I mean, like, just have to rent a farm that's 70 CSR, about half of it is probably 60 or less. And it's like, so that whole farm is ineligible for
Isn't
solar.
that your choice to put solar on your
Well,
property or not?
And that's,
That's
That's
what
the
they're
debate.
working on, you're right. So I mean, you know, that's the sad part, you couldn't even take part of your farm, you said that, you know what, I don't wanna farm this, because it's not profitable, but if I put solar on it. So she basically, it sounded like me, she'd be against it.
I just figured you guys, if you didn't hear about it.
Yeah, no,
I thought you
it's-
should hear about it because it may impact us. in
I
the future.
think,
I did
I
read
think
that.
we got a letter or an email from some other supervisor too. That's how I heard about it or seen it somewhere. I don't, maybe it was on ISAC. Maybe that's where they said it, but they put it out there. So,
I think it was on ISAC.
yeah, I think you're right. Now.
They need to
Wonder-
adjust the taxation on that stuff so we get more.
Jane told me they did a year ago.
Did they get that?
Well, they lowered it from 10 million to 1 million, so you don't lose that 9 million in there.
Yeah,
They start kicking out tax after 1 million, which is a good deal.
sounded like there'd be plenty of money, she said.
So,
So,
but totally depends on how much goes in the grid. One year you could have a lot go in and next year it could be a little less. So you can't really rely on it. You'd have to only rely on them.
you wouldn't want to rely on
A minimum amount.
Yeah, you'd want to, it's kind of like a little bit like the casino income. You don't want to overestimate.
Yep,
that.
there you go. Same deal.
So, but it sounded like there would be generally, I think she said it was corrected, and I think that was a year ago. I'd have to ask her again, so.
Does
That
that,
was last year that got corrected.
Yeah.
What?
Judy, would that stay in agricultural classification then, or would that change?
It would probably change.
Okay,
Yeah.
as it should,
Some
As it
question.
because it's no longer agricultural
It
use.
would be
you know?
commercial, and then
Correct.
some of the stuff I've read is sometimes they pick up the difference between ag and commercial and
Yeah.
pay the rest, and whatever, so. Which would be the, you know, cause
That's the proper way to do
Right.
it, I think.
You mean on the taxation on the land?
Yeah.
Well, the way it came out last spring was the land that the solar farm's sitting on is combined with the solar farm, so them taxes are gone. That goes to the state and then they feed it back.
right, it's all,
That's the way I
it all
read it.
got centrally assessed.
Yeah,
just
so
like
you no
it
longer
goes.
get property tax in the
Yeah.
county of work off that
So
land.
I'm
of
not
that
sure
solar
if that
farm.
got changed too or not. You got that.
That I don't know.
No, I would have to Yes, Jay.
That's the way it is right now. I don't know if they got that changed or not.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're trying to get that
I don't
changed.
quite, I'll see that mixing, why that would go that way, but I guess, you know.
Yeah, I don't understand why you'd
legislators-
attach the solar farm to the land.
Well, the legislators like money
Oh,
too.
I forgot about that
Yeah,
one.
can't you tell they're trying to get all ours too?
Yeah,
You know, God forbid we leave it here and let us.
Right.
yeah, they're
Let's take
working
it down
on,
there and get
they're
part of
working
it
on the
back.
windmills next.
They give us 10% and 80% Polk County or whatever. So,
Mhm.
anyway, all right, any more department heads?
So today we were supposed to have the webinars on the 365. But I did, because of some conflicts and stuff, we did change that. So I believe it's April 4th now. So we'll have a morning webinar and then an evening or an afternoon one. So, and I did send that out to everybody calendar invite. So please share that with your employees.
Yeah.
Okay.
See if
The one in the morning's at 10 a.m. One in the afternoon,
Two,
two, I think it
Yeah, I
was.
think two.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've been, like I said, more questions, the better, you know, if we want to go down this road.
Anything else, department heads? So it's time. Supervisor weeklies, Enos.
I had Partners for Children and basically we have to go through these contracts every month because they're just not being spent. And it's left over from the pandemic, you don't know where, and now we're trying to do FY23. And they're coming in with their budgets and they're not even close to spending what they had for a budget last year, and they dropped their budget. So yeah, and it just boils down to the fact that it's kind of like Turning Leaf. They're just, the counselors aren't there. And I think there's a lot of people in these things that retired early when the pandemic hit, and we're just having trouble. There's just not enough people to make use of all of the funds that are available through the state. So that's basically what went through there. And then we had that meeting with Will. So other than that, that's what I had last week.
All I had was that meeting with Will, so I don't have anything other than that.
Yep, that's really all I had with Will. I did have a conversation with Cindy Davis down in Alcoa. They're gonna be doing some changes on their board makeup. And so I'll probably be going off. We'll act on it tomorrow night. Worth County already has at least two, if not three people. You know, they have some private sector representation and stuff. So we're still covered Worth County wise. And she just, I think right now she's at a 27 member board, and she would kind of like to downsize that. And anybody, she's allowed to do that. And so I said, yeah, I'd be happy to step off here. So that'll probably come. I'll zoom in on a meeting tomorrow night and, speak with them on that. And then I will probably be, I don't want to say voted off, but we'll just be dropping the number of board members down. So I'll be one that'll be going off. And so I have no problem with that. So if someplace you guys are super overloaded, let me know.
No,
It's not that was a big job, but it's, quarterly meeting in the evening. So, but Worth County will still be covered, which is a good thing. So, yeah. So anyway.
Did anybody get a hold of Jeff? Who was gonna get a hold of Jeff?
Kyle,
No, yeah,
well, I was supposed to. I forgot about that.
okay.
I'll call him after we're done.
There we go.
Oh, one other thing about Partners for Children, considering Jackie's gonna go off this recording, is the month of April is Child Abuse Prevention Month,
Yep.
and they'd like to proclaim that. Just like we did last year.
Okay.
So,
Did they send you a proclamation?
Okay, so it's gonna be basically.
why don't you just. leave
Stuff
that
for
in the
next
final.
week's agenda item and then.
Yeah, put it on for like either next Monday or the Monday after either the 21st or 28th.
And then when we're doing kind of next week's, well, got the email on the honeybee proclamation.
Yeah,
And
that one's
we
here
do
too.
that every year usually, so we'll get that on the agenda too then.
It's 9 o'clock.
So, all right, 9 o'clock. So I will recess the regular session.
Well, it's just a resolution, Mark.
That-
Just a resolution.
Yeah, she said, remember to recess the regular session and reconvene. Cool. Yeah, that's what
It's
she,
just a resolution, right?
well, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's not a.
Not a public hearing yet. Public hearing is
Right.
28th, so.
Yeah. Well, that's what she said here, so.
Yeah, well, 'cause yeah, well, we gotta have the meeting open to do a resolution, so,
Well, that's what I thought, yeah.
yeah, because it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the public hearing is actually the 28th, so yeah, you wanna leave the meeting. open, I believe.
So. All right, so I will read it, because there's no. it's a Resolution, there's no. Yeah.
Resolution, so.
Okay. Whereas the Worth County Board of Supervisors have considered the proposed FY 22-23 county maximum property tax dollars for both general county services and rural county services. And whereas a notice concerning the proposed county maximum property tax dollar was published as required and posted on a county website and or social media accounts if applicable. Whereas a public hearing concerning the proposed county maximum property tax dollars was held on 3/14/2022. So. She's got a public hearing. So I guess I'm, yeah, she doesn't have it here on the agenda, but it's in the. So I'm gonna go back and recess the meeting and I'll finish reading. I will take a motion. She's basically saying I will open a public hearing. Take a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion over the public hearing.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? And then I'll sit. All approved, say yes.
Aye.
Aye. Motion will carry. Okay. So as I'll finish reading then, whereas a public hearing concerning the proposed county maximum property tax dollars was held on 3/14/2022. Now therefore be resolved by the County Board of Supervisors of Worth County that the maximum property tax dollars for Denny County services and rural county services for FY 2022 and 23 shall not exceed the following. General county services, $4,237,765, an increase of 17.72% from the prior year. Rural county services, $1,653,325, and an increase of 9.23% for the prior year. All right, so I guess at this point, is there any comments from the public? I will ask again, is there any comments from the public? Is there anything on, nothing on the
Nothing on
Zoom there?
Zoom.
Those are, okay,
We're good.
okay. So hearing no comments, I will take a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion will carry. So I'll reconvene the regular meeting. And I will ask for a motion to approve the maximum property tax dollar resolution.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. There'll be a roll call vote. Goldberg,
Aye.
Stone,
Aye.
maybe aye. So the resolution will pass. John. So, want to just recess the meeting until 9:30?
Yeah. I think
I think that'd be the thing, proper thing to do.
I think we got everything done, right?
Yep, so I will recess the meeting until 9:30. Meeting, I guess. So we got John Danielson. Morning, John. He's on there?
I don't see him.
Oh, it's Jay Helms. Okay, I'm sorry. We gotta call him or what?
No, he should have the link.
Okay. It's not quite.
Pretty close.
Anybody coming in?
Nobody is yet.
Give him a minute or so. No, get his number handy, somebody.
Yeah, I do.
I put it in the storage again.
9-1 and let's go.
See, you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah,
Good thing you left it over there. 'Cause
you can remember from Monday to Monday. That's a real trick.
What?
Got a good memory, it's just short.
I'm just surprised I show up every Monday.
Ooh, you just about walked into something there.
Yeah, thank goodness the sheriff's not here anymore.
We'll let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
See?
Send a message. Good.
Oh, yeah. Newsroom. That's not him. Outside for a second. Is Cosgrove done this year?
August, I think.
Or August, okay. Do you know who's gonna take his place on the board?
You might be looking at it.
Wonderful.
At least he talked to me about it. But in August is when we do our elections and appointments. So.
September meeting is our board retreat. So that'd be a good time to come on board. Because we're going all the way to Mills. Rich Crouch is our president, so. Ben Murder.
Oh,
Only takes 15 days to get down
whatever.
there.
You're working while you're traveling, we're okay.
Yeah, nope,
All right.
the mobile office is still mobile.
Yeah.
Well, I did just talk with Heidi at Northland Securities.
Yep.
And we can split that up
Okay.
as far as tiffing those new turbines.
So how was the backfill that I was looking at then, I think? That was my
Well,
thought on that.
We just specify whatever basically percentage of that farm that we would want to turbine for tip.
So if we took in 10% or whatever. then-
Yeah,
Then
yep.
everybody would get their dollars there.
Yeah, we just have to specify that on our renewal plan, that basically if we want to go, we want to tip 50%, when the other half goes to the taxing authorities.
Okay.
Then we specify that out, knowing that this is what that 50% is gonna generate, so that's what we're able to
Definitely worth taking
tip
a look
or
at
use
that.
for tip dollars, and then the rest would go. Cause the valuations are gonna be there, we'll know the numbers, but,
No numbers.
and of course, well, it's the step up program, so it'll still be another year and a half out or whatever,
Right,
but.
right.
Before we can get started, but anyways, if we specify that and we know that, then, we can split that up however we want, so. We don't have to go full board, we can take some of that out and help our budget.
You hate to start doing that, but we don't have any choice.
I think as long as you're careful and do it on a small percentage.
Right. Well, and we just gotta pay more attention to, or this group, whoever's after us, It's gotta stay on the budget, not let it explode.
Yeah.
Keep it fairly tight, keep it to the basics, and then, like I said, cause we're technically about
Increases
20
little by little.
I would say
we're
pretty
20+%
much, yeah.
shortfall, so.
Anything you bring in originally, you would probably try to put towards,
Mhm.
and then gradually adjust that every year, but
Right,
don't just spend it all.
no. Try to build a
Build a
buffer,
reserve fund.
build the reserve funds that used to be here that aren't anymore.
Yep.
And
And then
still
that-
be efficient within the
And
within the
then,
county workers in the courthouse system.
Your brackets filled out.
Yeah.
and then that would
brackets
allow,
filled out, that's what we should be
open up your casino money to go back into projects that you should be doing. You know,
Yeah.
it's $300,000 a year.
Yeah, we just gotta be very
Would that be
careful on
only
the percentage you start using.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't see any,
Money, I just like to see.
It's only
how close
way to
I
get out
can
of
get
I
it.
just don't see any other way to
That's
get
right,
out of it than
that's right.
using that.
It's only
Well, I
about,
mean,
that's
until you
You
can
got a lot of
imagine they're
Facebook
gonna
posts,
get it
brackets
that
busted.
much.
It's gonna-
increase, just not gonna, even if this terminal comes online, I mean, it takes years.
the terminal and the casino interchange,
It
it's,
takes years.
It is gonna take a little bit away from infrastructure for the county, but we have no choice, you know, because they're not gonna backfill what we don't TIF. But then the way they're talking down there, they may change the whole thing anyway in Des Moines.
John's on there.
All right,
He's just connected.
there it is. Yep. There we go. All right, none.
Good morning.
Good morning.
AJ, thanks for sending the link.
okay, I kind of wondered about that. We hadn't
Wasn't
heard or
sure
seen
if you
anything.
folks were calling me or what, so
We
that
weren't
was
either,
great.
so,
Thank you.
all right.
So anyways, John, you and I have been talking, and the whole board's been talking here for a few months now on this urban renewal plan. And I did send you some properties, the road, the direction of road for the pipeline, I should say the route for the pipeline. And then I also did send you that one last week from our engineer on some bridges and paving possibly too, so. The big
Yeah,
question. is that-
I'm in receipt of those.
Okay, and I think the big question is now is, have you got the information you need, or what more do you need from us to go take the next step here?
Well, I'll just kind of reiterate, I think what maybe we've covered before. In order to get going with your formal process, there's a couple of categories of information that we want to really have our arms around. One of them you've already been alluding to, and that's geography, right? What property are we needing to put into this area, and have the legal descriptions available for that. The property always falls into at least one of two categories. It's either property that is going to serve as the site for a project that you want to undertake with the county's urban renewal authority. Usually that means, where do we want to spend TIF? We have to cover that geography. So if you're putting in a road, and you're going to use TIF to support it, we need the right-of-way description. If you're going to provide some kind of TIF funded incentive to a private business that's building something, we need to have the location where that business is located and where their project is happening. So that's one category of the geography. The other, on the real estate side of things, is to ask the question, are we needing to add property that will produce TIF dollars for us into the future? And so in that instance, you're certainly going to be focused on private taxable property, where in the short term you are anticipating valuation growth resulting from some kind of private development or redevelopment. So on the real estate side, that's the thing to kind of run through one more time for yourselves. Have we identified all of the real estate that would belong to those two buckets that I just described? The second thing you need to be sure about and make sure that we've got enough facts to be able to describe in the urban renewal plan document that we will draw up for you is on the project side of things. What are we doing? What are we undertaking? Because the law does require that we draw up an urban renewal plan or amend an urban renewal plan to be specific enough to identify the urban renewal projects that we are going to undertake. And again, that might be, road X from point A to point C. That could be a project, or extending a sewer line from here to there. That might be a project, or more of an incentive business support type deal, like a rebate agreement or guarantee was being discussed at one point. Whatever those projects are that we're going to use our county urban renewal power to help promote, we need to be identifying those and giving at least kind of a thumbnail factual sketch of them in this urban renewal planning document as we go through this process. So I know I feel pretty confident. AJ's been sending me real estate descriptions that I know, or I think I know, that you want to utilize with this. I'm less certain on the project front about whether or not you folks have identified A, B, C, D, whatever projects and initiatives you want listed here. And maybe you have, and I just am not quite up to speed, but before we can really get going with the formal drafting and starting you folks on the process, I'm going to need to understand what the projects are.
Okay. Well, yeah, since we've talked last, we've had more discussion on the actual projects now. And like I say, some of the projects, the guarantee for the pipeline.
Yeah.
We're still waiting on just a few little things from that company. But once we get that, we'll have a better idea. But I think we're all, the three of us are in support of that, which we have talked about before. So do we need to create a like a development agreement with them, or?
No, we don't have to be that far down the road. What I need to be able to do to get you started with the urban renewal process is, again, to kind of just give a thumbnail overview of what is the project, what's the county's involvement, importantly, what is a maximum amount of TIF dollars that we as a county would apply towards that project, and what's the nature of our fiscal involvement going to be. So kind of the reporter type questions: who, what, when, where, why, and how much. And again, we're not drilling. I'm not writing a novella over here with this. We want to reasonably advise your public. If they want to know more about it, they've got enough there to be able to give them an idea of what is the county undertaking, so that if I want to go over to the courthouse and ask more questions about it, I've been reasonably apprised that this is afoot.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, I think it's safe to say that we're in support of a guarantee of up to $10 million on pipeline project. To be straight up front with anybody. And then also, I believe we're in support of road and bridge repairs that were sent to you. And if we need to get more exact clarification on that stuff, we can do that, but we just want to get you the basics of what we're there.
Yeah.
And also this courthouse I think we are in support of, we don't know that number really yet, but we're in support of starting that process or including that in the process. So, and if we don't know a number on the courthouse, what's our best option to,
I think, I mean, you're gonna need to supply a number.
right?
And I think common wisdom would be to at least ballpark it and give a little bit of contingency, so that you've got a reasonable shot at not having to necessarily come back and revisit it again in the future. Because the process is onerous, right? And I would not, I wouldn't sell yourself short on that estimate, I guess is all I'm getting at. Don't be silly, obviously, but see if you can ballpark it, add a little bit of a reasonable cushion for contingency and just go with that. I also think it's I want to remind you, for the purposes of the conversation we're having today, this does not have to be a project cost estimate, but rather a statement of the maximum amount of TIF dollars that you might claim from your district to go towards the project. And those are not always the same, because sometimes folks have multiple funding sources going into a project, right? So your courthouse, it might be an $8 million I'm making that up, I have no idea. It might be an $8 million project, but you might only intend to have TIF involvement for half of that. So you might wind up using 400,000 or whatever in this urban renewal process.
Okay.
And on the roads and bridges, it's been a little while since I had my eyes on that, AJ. The biggest thing there is we do want to be able to point out each road segment and each distinct bridge and and identify them. So, it might be highway G32 from point X to point Y, and it might be the bridge at point Z. And it doesn't, I don't think it really matters whether we give itemized TIF maximums or if we just kind of announce this as a 2022, 2023 county road and bridge program, and, kind of give one sort of aggregate description with an aggregate overall maximum of TIF to spread across the various projects that we describe. That's going to be good enough if we have that level of detail.
Okay. So we could put a number on that of, say, up to 3 million on roads and bridges. Give you the general description of them, and then basically go until we go after the stuff we see fit up to that number, correct?
Right.
Okay. All right.
And again, I want to emphasize for everybody that what I'm narrowing in on today is just sort of a prerequisite process that the law requires to give you a foundation to get to the point where you can claim TIF and use it to help with these. This is just the beginning. After we get your urban renewal plan situation updated, announcing these projects, making sure we've got the real estate situated the right way so it's legal. The next step is then going to be to enter into some kind of debt obligation on the part of the county to actually provide the fiscal input to the project. So with the road and bridge repairs, you might put not to exceed $3 million of TIF. Well, once we get this initial stage done, you're going to have to decide, where are you coming up with the $3 million? Because the TIF isn't magically going to appear all of a sudden, right? Are we doing some GO bonds like you've done in the past and going out to market? Do you have sufficient funds on hand that you might do some internal borrowing and collect the TIF over time to repay those internal funds. That'll be the next stage that you have to move into with respect to any of these projects that you identify, right? What kind of debt are we going into in order to then claim TIF, which is a debt repayment tool, much like your debt service levy for GO bonds. And the same would go for the courthouse. On the guarantee, hopefully, if things go right, you'll never have to kick in a dime of TIF on that, because theoretically you're just standing in the background. But on that one, the guarantee itself, at least in the short term, would serve as your debt obligation.
Correct. Okay. And one of our new funding sources for this would be the newest wind farm that just came on the taxation. Up in the northeast corner of the county. So do we need parcel numbers on all of those? Is that how it works?
Yeah, and that gets to be a little bit technical and complicated, and ultimately we're going to have to probably be working with your auditors and assessors offices to get the descriptions that you want. What has typically happened in other counties is that just the leasehold real property interests have been placed into the urban renewal area and TIF district, subdivided from the underlying agricultural land, where the property owners have provided those leases. And I don't think there's any reason to even consider doing it another way. So you have to be far enough along with the wind farm development that those at least parcel ID numbers from the leasehold interests are available. And I have no idea if they are. Jackie probably knows
Yeah, our
better than I do.
assessors, one of the gals from our assessor's office is sitting here with us and she's got all that. She said she can give
Yeah.
us all that
I'll
info.
get
So,
it to you today if you want.
yeah, so they've got all that down to everything. It's actually been signed up for taxation. So it's, that process is done. We're beyond the development, so we can get you hard numbers there.
And I just want to clarify. It's been a little while since we've talked about it, but your intention here is to add this property to your existing area by amendment. Am I remembering that correct? As opposed to setting up a completely distinct standalone area? Or do you want this to be distinct?
Which is the best route to go. I mean, we can do that either way, I guess. I think I understand what you're saying here. Yeah. If we either add it to what we've already done or we set it up as a separate TIF district.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
What
And
is the best recommendation there? Or does it matter?
well, it matters. Let me give you pros and cons and try to avoid being the decision maker.
Okay.
So
And we're not making decisions today, so that's why I'm asking for advice.
I hear you. No. Here's the thing. Procedurally, in terms of the hopscotch game that needs to be played, it's going to be identical either way. So that's neutral. From a long-term kind of administrative standpoint, we have a lot of clients that do find it sometimes easier to make sense of what's going by creating a new separate area, because it's more encapsulated, it's under its own plan. If you're looking at a particular project or program, you know exactly where it belongs. So there is some clarity, I think, that comes from creating separate areas. The downside there is there's more of a reporting burden. You all do have to do an annual report to the state, and in essence, you submit one report for each area that you run. So there is a little bit of an additional kind of reporting burden that would come along with a separate area. The major advantage to doing it as an amendment to an old area is the portability of TIF. If you set it up as a distinct area under its own brand new plan, you are not going to do TIF revenue sharing amongst distinct urban renewal areas. So, if the new wind farm is attached to a brand new area, you are restricted to using the TIF on projects that are in that particular new area. And you wouldn't use it to support anything in the old. If you do it as an amendment to the older area, then that restriction geographically isn't there. And you could, if you wanted, use TIF either from the old area to support something in the new, or vice versa.
That's the way we're
So-
doing it now.
Some folks find that kind of fiscal flexibility to be advantageous and appealing. Others don't think that's the right policy for their jurisdiction, and they don't want to go that route. So
Well, I think.
I will
John,
leave that
we've
to your
got-
discretion.
John, we've got some uncaptured TIF right now in our current plan that we want to utilize, so I don't think we really want to separate.
Okay,
Because then
so
we're
we'll
gonna
do it
go-
as an amendment.
And it's specific to the areas.
Yeah, I understand that, and was probably a good idea if we were kind of
If we're-
starting over with a new projects, we've got uncaptured stuff we need to utilize.
If we're a large metropolitan area, we're not, we're a county, so
Right.
if you restrict it to that part of the county.
And
I
if
mean,
we keep it
you
all
take
as,
care of roads and bridges.
if we keep it all as one, then we can draw from both of them.
That's the
We
thing.
can
Do a
use it for
project.
more stuff.
I don't
Yeah.
think we want to separate
Yeah,
this
so
out.
I think we want to go probably the amendment route, I would say. We're
Okay.
gonna go nod
Yeah,
our
we'll have
heads
to
about.
Get that on for next week, but yeah.
Yeah.
The courthouse in your car.
We'll do it that way.
Never thought of
Sounds
that.
good.
All right, so I guess what else would you need from us then? We'll get you the new turbine farm that is online now. We'll get that to you.
That'd be,
Yeah, send that over. I guess I'd like to maybe identify a date upon which the board would kick off the formal process for this.
sooner the better.
Just so, and if it winds up needing to move, it can be adjusted. But I'd like to have something on our docket to kind of key off of. What do you think? Beginning of April, or do you want to try to squeeze something yet into March to start?
Can we go first part of April? I'm gonna be gone that last week of March.
Let's go April 4th is our first meeting
Yeah,
in
I'll be
April.
back for that, so.
That works on my end for sure.
Okay.
So I'll put that on the calendar, and just to kind of roadmap it for you, then if we start action at the board on April 4th, the amendment process that we've been discussing would conclude on May the 2nd. There are several steps along the way that have to be taken kind of on the notice and consultation side that mandate about a 4-week start to finish. So it would be May 2nd when we would complete the amendment process. There will be a TIF ordinance that needs to be adopted covering the wind turbine properties and any other taxable parcels that you're hoping will generate TIF into the future. Somebody will need to advise me whether you want to waive considerations on that, or if, the TIF ordinance adoption would kind of carry into May, if you're going to do 2 or 3 considerations for that. Either way is legal. It's just whatever you folks want to do. And then we will, at that point, once we've got this amendment taken care of, we will need to discuss really your projects distinctly. Because at that point, you're gonna have a fork in the road because the gas line project is not gonna wind up following the same timeline as the road and bridges. And you're probably gonna finance them, with different kinds of debt and all of that. So from that point, once we've got this prerequisite work done, we're gonna really go down 2 or 3 forks in the road in order to deal with your fiscal needs on each of these distinct programs. So I'm not going to try to crystal ball what happens from May 2nd. We'll get there eventually.
And we would need to get you an estimate on this courthouse facility then.
Yeah, and if I don't have it, if somebody could just kind of give me a real brief, a couple sentence summary about the work that would be undertaken along with that. It doesn't have to be plans and specs.
It's being considered to renovate or rebuild new courthouse and jail, sheriff's office and jail facility in Northwood.
Okay. And if you're rebuilding, are you demolishing and rebuilding in place, or is there yet another courthouse site that would be considered?
It'd be on this site.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever happens will be on this site.
Yeah, the only reason I'm asking is from a real estate perspective, just making sure that we're describing the right ground that needs to be in. Please do keep in mind, and I'm going to need somebody to help do the 2-mile radius on this, but if there are any properties that we're adding to your area with this amendment that are either inside of city limits, like the courthouse, or within 2 miles of any city limits in the county, we will need to get the consent from those municipalities in order to be able to move forward. That it's a jurisdictional requirement under the law that we have to get those cities' permissions, just like if a city wants to set up an area outside of their city limits, they can do that, but they have to get your permission. It's kind of the flip side of that coin.
So this courthouse property would be for sure.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I don't know about your wind turbines, if any of them are within 2 miles of any city limits or not.
No, they are not. Manly Terminal would be, that's within 2 miles.
Well,
Is one of them out there? Any of those out there?
that might be within 2 miles city limits.
2
Yeah.
miles.
So anyways, you're
2 miles.
all the better that we're not trying to start until April 4th, because if you folks could turn somebody on to kind of doing this analysis, right? Think about all of the ground that we're trying to add, including those road and bridge projects. Don't ignore those. We just need to make sure we're getting permission from the appropriate cities if they're implicated. So.
Okay. All right, sounds good. We'll work on getting you some other numbers then for that, some other information.
Sounds good. I'll watch for it.
Okay.
Give me a shout if you need me.
Nope, AJ's in touch with you, and Jackie will be back here. We'll get this stuff going, and yeah, we appreciate your insights, John.
You bet. Good talking to you folks.
All right, thanks, John. We'll see you.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. So,
Bye.
So you're working on the real estate.
We can do
the
it. Deacon.
pipeline.
Got him, I got him that map. I got him a terminal. I got him this one. I got him
Rich's Road.
List.
Bridges and roads.
We can
Yeah.
detail that a little bit.
But if you can get me like for the stuff you highlighted, this bridge between so and so and so and so. And then if you would do that for us, that'd be perfect.
Where exactly is Ready Fuels in perspective to that? Where's it going from the other buildings that are down there?
Right in the gravelled area, basically, if you want to look.
Right
at it.
along the highway.
Yep.
Highway 65.
That's what I thought it was, but I
that
wasn't sure.
Yeah,
And
Beacon
that's
lets you do
inside
a
the 2 miles.
2 mile
isn't it?
radius.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
Beacon, you can do a
370
2 mile radius.
there, right on the
Let's
north end of
switch. I'm gonna
elevators.
do
That's
that.
city limits, so technically up to the Grafton Blacktop 390.
Then you gotta get old Manly to, have you done that yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
See, and
been
I
being
thought they
worked
had to
on.
be
Yeah.
outside.
they know about what's
Yeah.
going
They
on.
probably had to be, but where they actually put it. maybe.
Well, and that's very true.
And then,
That's very true.
yeah,
They
this would
drift a
be
little
within Northwood, obviously. out there, I think with those turbines, they're supposed to stay 2 miles away from the airports. So that
That's what I
should
thought,
be
but
From the airports, not city limits.
the city
From the-
limits.
There you
airport.
go.
No, city limits is,
Well, Partridge is. in
City limits is the blacktop, isn't it?
no.
No, it's outside of that.
it's
Yeah.
outside.
Okay.
Yeah,
All the true styles in city
all the true
limits.
styles in the city limits.
Okay.
So I think we're pretty close on that.
That would be on the
As
one.
long as they didn't.
I'm gonna
object
do
to
a
it, they
map.
could be in the 2
Yeah.
miles.
Because.
But if we go
Because
back
you have the location, so. I
and we
think
Yeah.
decide, like
that's
we were
the best way, 'cause
talking
you might-
about,
Crows might be-
not tiffing them all,
I
Right.
don't know.
we need to decide that too
Yeah,
before
and we can just
lay
put
any of
we-
this together.
We can just put a percentage out there that 50%,
If
60%.
we have
sounds fine.
unused TIF.
Yeah,
Anyway,
So,
all right, any further discussion on this
Yes.
matter?
No,
I'm in- yeah.
getting-
Discussion on, so
Yeah, we'll
Just
just
get
keep
on
pushing
Beacon, just
information
do
to
it
them, so.
tomorrow.
good right now?
Think so.
And then we need that other assessed, if Ready Field's can get some type of. a
I'd like at
property,
least an estimate on.
so we can get an assessed value, a ballpark figure, what it's gonna bring in for taxes.
Okay.
We need that.
Take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
No further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion will carry. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You done recording?